Good morning and welcome to the channel. I had done this last video here that you'll see shortly about the pea sheller and all my trials and tribulations with it. I've been through 3 or 4 different revisions on it, and in theory it was a good idea, but in reality it was lacking. I don't know exactly what was done wrong, but I followed all of the plans that I had found on this pea sheller and tried to the best of my abilities to build a functioning pea sheller. And you'll see in these following scenes where I had tried several different techniques to try to make this thing work. And it just wasn't successful at all. And in the end, I think that I have concluded that the drum needs to turn one way and the paddles need to turn the other. I'll follow some other pea shellers that I saw down at the farmer's market, professional pea sheller, and I'm going to try on my CNC router to manufacture the baffles that they had in that on my CNC router to see if I can make this thing work like it's supposed to. So enjoy the following video and the scenes in here, and we'll see what happens. Have a blessed day. Good morning. I wanted to show you what my intentions are this week on this pea sheller and how I'm going to redo it so that it will shell peas. At the moment, the pea hulls are dropping through this mesh. This is 1/2 inch mesh here, and when it does, it falls through and it goes straight through, so it doesn't really shell the peas. So my intentions are to put a band around the drum itself, and I'll laminate that, and it'll fold over like this, and I want to build it up to about 1/4 inch. Maybe these are 1/16, maybe 3/16 of an inch that I'll band it up. And once I get this banded, what it'll do, I'll have a covering over this, a solid sheet of metal that'll go over this, and it'll have a drop point along in here somewhere that will allow the peas to fall out, and it'll keep the hulls inside. So that's my intentions on this, is to build that up 3/16 of an inch. We'll see. I'll check out with the peas and see what happens then. But if you look in the background there, you'll see that this is set up for a little while, and it has had some tenants move in. So if you have one of these pea shellers and you're going to use it on a yearly basis, be aware that this is going to happen. You're going to have tenants move in that you'll have to get rid of. We'll blow this out later so that there's no contaminants in here. But I wanted to show you my thoughts on this these beaters in here and how I'm going to do those. I'll take this part off so that you can see. This just lifts off and sets out of the way, so you can load your peas on the inside. And what happens when this drum turns, these peas will rotate with it. The drum itself will go around, and the beaters will tumble the peas up. Now I think that I probably have too many beaters in here, and I think I have the wrong kind. I'm going to remanufacture these beaters, and I'll go with less. I'll probably go with 4 across 1, 2, 3, 4, and let that be it. These other 3 I think are too much for it. But what I found the last time is that when it's turning, you see how these beaters will flex like that. Well, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to make a 1-piece beater that will saddle over this shaft, and it'll compress on it, and it'll stay fit and it'll stay tight and it'll stay snug so that when it does turn, they won't have any flex to them. They'll do what they're supposed to do. These also have too sharp an edge on them, so the next beaters will be rounded somewhat to make it easier on, without tearing all the peas up. But that's what I'm going to do, so stay tuned. I was working on the pea sheller, and I thought about putting these metal plates around it so that they would deflect the peas when they shelled and would go into the bottom. Well, I rethought that, and I decided that I would go a different route. I decided I'd put wooden slats across here because they'll conform to the shape of this better than the metal will. So here we go. I put these slats on. I'm pre-drilling the holes here so that I won't split the wood, and it won't split out and come loose. And I just want to snug them up. I don't want to get them too tight, just enough to hold them on there. If you can see this is a whole lot more flat and rigid than that metal was. That metal just didn't want to do what I wanted it to do. So, and from here we'll just go on up one at a time. I'm using quarter sawn oak in here to give it that rigid strength that we need, give it that rigid strength that I need. The one thing that I didn't do on these slats is cut this edge so that it would conform around to the side there and fit up tight and flush, but I don't think it's necessary. If you build this, you can, do that, and it'll be probably a better fit. But for me at this moment, this will work just fine. Okay, all right, this is finished now. I still have a little work to do on here, but for the most part, this is finished, and you can see that I have the slats here where the peas will fall out once they're shelled, hopefully. But we'll give it a test run here in a minute. But first I wanted to explain something to you on this drive system, on this pulley system. I originally had this 2-inch pulley on this drum, and considering that the motor turns at 1750 RPMs, this 2-inch pulley to this 12-inch pulley, that gives you a speed of approximately 635 RPMs. Well, it was a little too fast for this drum, I thought, so I wanted to slow it down. And what I did was that I installed this 1-inch pulley. This 1-inch pulley, considering the ratio of 12 to 1, if that's 1750 RPM, you divide by 12, so we're reducing it down to... So when I reduce this, going from a 12 to 1-inch pulley, that's like a 12 to 1 ratio. And a 12 to 1 ratio, that would turn this drum at about 150 RPMs. Kind of give you an example of what it looks like when it's turning, is I have my variable speed here, and in this green area is where this motor likes to run best in here. But as I said, if it's running 600 RPMs, then that's just too fast for this drum, I think. But let's see what happens. We'll turn this up. So there we're turning at about 145 RPMs. The inside beaters are turning faster than that. They're turning at about 600 RPMs, so they'll beat this up. So let's load it up with peas and see what happens. Okay, the catch pans are in place, and we'll load it up with peas and see what happens. I have a smaller catch pan, which should catch most of the peas, and the larger, which hopefully will catch all the dropouts.